We are The Sacred Souls here at WNXP. I thought love was holding hands, couples on the swings, that's what made it last. I hit 16, thought it was kissing underneath the tree and saying, baby, you go with me, baby, you go with me. But love has no limits and it has no name. It's every hour and it's day by day. Said love has no gender and it has no creed. Love is everything. Love is a way of being, baby. Love is the way Love is a way of being, baby. Love is the way Call my name if you want me. Call my name if you need me. I promise I'll be there. I promise I'll be there. 'Cause love has no limits and it has no name. It's every hour and it's day by day. Said love has no gender and it has no creed. Love is everything. Love is a way of being, baby. Love is the way Love is a way of being, baby. Love is the way Don't you ever forget it, don't let it run away now, baby. Don't you ever forget it, don't let it run away now, baby. Don't you ever forget it, let it run away now. Don't you ever forget it, let it run away now, baby. She said, be honest with how you feel. I said, that's easier said than done. I said, don't worry about the future. She said, that's easier said than done. Well, it is. 'Cause true love, it ain't easy, no. She said, just show me this love is real. I said, that's easier said than done. I said, just trust the way you feel. She said, that's easier said than done. Yes, it is. 'Cause true love, it ain't easy, no. It ain't easy. True love, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, but it's worth it in the end. Ooh. It ain't easy, but it's worth it in the end.
I feel like for this introduction, I should put my Quiet Storm R&B voice on, but I'm not going to do that. My name is Marquis Munson. You're listening to 91.1 WNXP, and I'm inside the Sonic Cathedral with the Sacred Souls, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves individually, starting with.
I'm Sal. I play bass in the band.
My name is Josh. I do some singing in the band.
How's it going? Alex, play drums.
Well, nice for you guys to come by. Like, I've loved this record, I think, and I was telling Josh before, this interview, it was in my top 10 favorite albums of last year. Such a beautiful record. I can just sit on my back deck and just listen to the vocals and just the sonic approach that you guys take on this record. So, such an amazing project, and glad to have you guys in Nashville for a second time now.
Yeah,
Thank
glad
you,
to be
man.
back.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to go back to the start of this band. How did you three get together to start this group?
The quick answer is Sal and I met at a show that we were playing together, and I had already had a jam session with Josh, and we had some instrumentals that needed some vocals, and I was like, I have the perfect guy. And Josh came over, and we recorded Rose. Well, the instrumental was already recorded, but he came over and laid the vocals down, and that was kind of like a little turning point where we decided that we had like something special together to make music.
So Can I Call You Rose, was it on the spot? Like, did you listen to the instrumental and was like, okay, this is how I'm going to write this song, like right here on the spot? Like an audition tape, similar kind of.
Yeah, but I think there was freedom to it because it didn't feel like an audition. I think the jam didn't have like we're looking for a singer. It was really just like, here's a project I've been working on. After we jammed separately, showed me some of the tracks, and that one just spoke to me. And yeah, it was kind of like the writing session happened right there. It was like maybe like an hour of just going back and forth with his Tascam and like coming up with the melody and then coming up with lyrics and then re-recording it and then putting some harmonies. But yeah, that specific song kind of, the instrumental was already real good and had like had the verse, chorus, pre-chorus. It was already set up song structure wise, which made it real easy for me to come just and feel what I was feeling, put down some lyrics and melody.
Absolutely. So how did you guys come up with the name The Sacred Souls?
My dad, big record collector, and he was starting up this collective with a good friend, and they were gonna name it the Sacred Soul Club. And it was right around the same time that we had decided that we were gonna start this band, and he was just kind of giving us tips and pointers and trying to figure out what to name the band, and it kind of he pretty much just gave us the name. So we just kind of made some changes, changed the to the to pay homage to a lot of bands we grew up listening to, and yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but like in Southern California, there's this big lowrider culture that really prides itself on retro soul music, the music that you guys kind of, grew up listening to growing up in Southern California, but also the music that you make, currently. Was that some of the inspiration behind the music that you guys make today?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like just being around a lot of record collectors that like have been collecting for years, they like put you on to some rare stuff that you never heard before, and then that kind of just like keeps the inspiration to keep digging for more like obscure music.
Yeah, and you guys finally got your music made, and it got in the hands of Daptone Records. How did you guys link up with Daptone?
Yeah, it was like a funny situation because we had met some dude named Diego, and he's in this band called With Strangers, and we only met him through Instagram, and we didn't really know him, but he was like, yo, I'm really digging your song, because we only had like a 30-second clip of the demo, and he's like, is it cool if you send it to me so I can send it to Gabe Roth? And then the next day he's like, oh, expect a call from Gabe, and Gabe called me up, and he was like, he wanted to come out to our show, which was like our second show ever, and yeah, on the spot he just like hit us up and asked if we wanted to make a record, and that was it.
That's awesome. But I was talking to Lee Fields back in October for his album Sentimental Fool, and the name that he just kept mentioning is Gabriel Roth, Bosco Man. And he kept mentioning that name, and he said that even with that record Sentimental Fool, it was Gabe's vision, but Lee wanted to take it any way that Gabe wanted, like he felt like he needed to take it. Was that similar for you guys when it's working with Gabriel Roth? Did you kind of see what vision that he was going for your record, and you kind of just took it the way that his vision was, or was it?
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around?
Yeah, he sees what we were trying to do with the record, and his, I don't want to say his job, but like his role in, as a producer is to make that happen for us. And so he's a really good dude to work with, because he's always trying to bring out the music that's within us and not like, write parts for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Josh, you did an amazing performance with Lee Fields, by the way, on his song Forever. Beautiful vocals on that song as well. It was amazing. I watched it like before I interviewed him, and I was just like, man, can't wait to talk to him about that too. Like being able to just be on Daptone Records, so much history, the late great Sharon Jones and Charles Bradley, working with Lee Fields and Gabriel Roth. Like, what was that moment for you guys, like being the soul group that gets to be under the umbrellas of so many legends?
I'd say for me, it's been great. It's been like a masterclass of just how to approach being in the studio and working with analog gear and seeing the value in that. Coming at the age we're in, there's so many innovations that happen, which are great with technology and music, and then being able to see what the value of analog is in a time of digital was, for me, really amazing. And sitting under Gabe, we learned a lot.
Absolutely. And so I want to ask, like, sonically, what was the approach like for you two as you were approaching this debut record? Like, sonically, what were you guys looking for?
I mean, I'm always looking for like raw sounding drums. We both dig like hip hop and that, like, I don't want to say nasty, but those nasty drum breaks that like make you just like,
Kind of like the deeper cuts.
Yeah.
The more kind of obscure sounds where maybe the guitar is has a weird kind of effect on it. Maybe the bass is for some reason louder than everything in the song. Like that, I like looking for that kind of stuff, or some, like Alex was saying, drums that are just up here in the mix for whatever reason.
Yeah, and Josh, for you, as you're listening to this sonically, like, where's your mindset as a songwriter going at that point?
Just kind of riding the wave, I have my desires too for the album, and I kind of just make it known, and then if it fits, it doesn't. If it does, and if it doesn't, I try not to be too precious about it, but just kind of, it's collaborative. So just kind of seeing where we come from and our different, what we bring to the table, and trying to make a recipe out of it,
It's kind of bouncing ideas off of each other.
No, I like that. And now, finally, guys, you guys, the last couple months, like, performing on Jimmy Kimmel Live, a couple months ago, you guys just got announced for Bonnaroo, and you guys are performing a sold-out show. I don't know if I'm breaking news to you guys right now, but a sold-out show at the Basement East tonight. Like, how does it feel for this debut record to be performing this in front of fans and performing these beautiful songs?
I think it feels good. It kind of it's cool to know that people are listening to the record. Last time we came over here, we played the other
basement, the OG basement.
Yeah, the other basement, and it was cool. You know, it was
Shout out to the 10 people that
it was
came
you
out.
know, it was vibey, you know, with good music, and people came out and they were stoked. But yeah, you know, so it's cool to see that, you know, before we put out the album, you know, versus putting out the album and, you know, playing more shows, it's a, you know, big difference.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's beautiful to see the faces of people, and you can tell throughout the show, you can tell who's gotten through a breakup through our music, who's started a new love through the music. By the time the end of the show is, at least the people you're paying attention to, you see how it's affecting them, which is what makes it worth it, because being on the road can be kind of tough, and that kind of helps balance it. Shout out to the band who's with us right now: Shay on guitar, Riley on keys, Tatiana on vocals, and Aston on vocals. It's cool to have a group take what we do in the studio and give it life in a live setting, which is slightly different, and it still hit the way the record does, which feels like a blessing.
Well, I will say, you guys came out with this record as I was preparing for my wedding, so it worked perfectly, because I'm like, I need all these love songs in my life, because like I'm about to go through the biggest stage. But I will mention back to that Basement show real quick. There was a bartender that I talked to about that show, and he was like, "Yo, that Sacred Soul show, they're performing at the Basement East, right? Like, you gotta go." Like, it was like they performed at the Basement, and it was so awesome. And so, even though there was 10 people there, you resonated with those 10 people because they talk about that show.
I mean,
so
those shows are cool, man, because, you know, you get to kind of have a more personal experience with them, and I'm sure maybe some of those 10 to 20 people will be there tonight. You know, we'll get to talk about that, the last Basement show. You know,
absolutely, call it OG Basement. Now you guys performing at the Basement East, Bonnaroo very soon.
The Basement East is called The Beast. That's what I heard from a local musician.
The Beast, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
OG Basement is the one that you guys performed at, and then the Beast is the Basement East. So yeah, there you go, guys. Sacred Souls, thank you guys so much for joining me. Love the record. Thank you for rocking our Sonic Cathedral stages, and hopefully you guys have some fun tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it.